How we doing, Alice? Jason Elder here with an IACA update. And with me is Annie Mitchell, VP of Admin for IACA. Annie, how we doing?
Woohoo! I'm doing great. It's a good day. It's beautiful outside. Everything is just ducky in my world right now.
All right. You're on your third term here as VP of Admin. Does it get any easier?
No, I will tell you that no, there are a lot of moving parts to being
Mhm.
an IACA board member. Some can be very difficult and some are very much close to my heart. When we talk about where the IACA has come in the last 6 years that I have been on the board, six, maybe 7 years that I've been on the board, it's exciting for me to see this. So
All right. Well, very good. So we're going to use this time to catch the membership up on some important announcements, some information, hopefully clear up some misinformation or maybe some confusion with some of the things that we've heard. Annie and I are going to do this regularly, maybe quarterly, maybe as needed. If there's something that you want to cover on the show, you can email me at leapodcasts@gmail.com. So, all right, Annie, what do you want to cover first?
well, we are deep in the thick of conference planning right now. And part of my responsibility as the VP of Administration is to oversee the conference committee. So even though it is on the website, we still get emails and questions. And I'm going to kind of cover some of those things that normally come through. And, I'm more than happy, like Jason said, you could email me and ask me a question just to me if you didn't want to do the conference committee. But I just want to remind everybody the conference is September 16th through the 20th at the Paris Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. I do have some news to report, though. I will be undergoing some surgery in that time period, and I will not be in attendance, which is very
Oh,
difficult for me. Yeah,
bummer.
it is a
Nope.
bummer.
No flip cup? What? Oh, no.
No flip cup this year, people, but I plan on coming back next year. It's going to be in Orlando.
Oh.
So yes, I'll throw that out there too. And so there's plenty of outdoor spaces for another Annie Mitchell Flip Cup Championship. I know everyone enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned Orlando because it seems like that's the worst kept secret. People talk enough that you can figure out where the next year's conference is. So
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm pretty sure we threw it on the website.
Oh, okay. Even better. Even
We
better.
did.
Good.
Yeah, so it's going to be at the Omni Resort, which is in Kissimmee. Hope
Mm-hmm.
I said that right. It is going to be, it's a beautiful location. I was in on the site visit there, and I think it's going to be a wonderful place to have the conference. We have not been to Florida in quite a while. Previous conference chairs, they were concerned about hurricanes
I
coming in.
know. I heard that.
And so I will tell you, when we were with the Orlando Visitors Bureau, they said we have insurance to cover you on that
Yeah.
if that were to happen. So we said let's go for it. It's great, and the Florida Crime Analyst Association is going to be partnering with us for that. So I'm looking forward. So let's get back to the basics of the conference in Las Vegas. The cost is $575 for members, $675 for non-members. What I want everyone to hear is, and you don't know this, I was talking to Jason earlier and I said, my agency, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, we would not get approval for our analysts to attend with the money until 1 week before the conference. So if you are in those circumstances, you can walk in the door, you still register yourself, and you could pay at the door. So I like to say that to people because it might change them deciding to go or not to go. So just so you know, that came from me and it's true. So, and we're very excited this year. Our keynote speaker was recommended by the University of Chicago Leadership Academy. Kristen Mahoney, who used to be the BJA director, is now with the University of Chicago, and she reached out to me and she said, we have a number of outstanding, chiefs, captains, lieutenants that are taking this leadership academy, and Kristen is generally at our conference. And so she said, I have someone I would like to recommend to be maybe your opening ceremony keynote. And so we spoke with him, and we will be having Chief Superintendent John Webster from Manchester, UK. And I have to tell you, he is a huge advocate of crime analysis. They've done a lot in the UK. Love the idea that, yes, we are going international with this. And I think it's about time for that.
Excellent.
Okay. Oh, and then we had a submission from an analyst from the FBI, and she's with I didn't even know of this. It's FBI Next Generation Identification System. She's with the CGIS division of the FBI. And you can go online and look at what that is. So, most of us are familiar with VICAP, which is a outstanding resource. I always am about, let me hear about things that are free to me that I'm totally unaware with. So Julia Lucas is going to be in the general session talking about the deceased persons identification services and next generation identification missing person services. And it's quite interesting. Go on the website and it'll tell you more information, but we'll be pushing more out. And accompanying her during the general session is we will be including a case study from Lori Velarde from California. She's worked with a couple of FBI agents and has located missing dead bodies for them by using a number of different analytical resources. And it's pretty amazing what she did. So that's what we're doing there. Just so you know, the Paris Hotel rate is $186 per night, which is, I will be honest, it's above government rate. We had to do some negotiations because our previous Las Vegas conference during COVID had to do with COVID, and we want to cancel. No, you can't. So unfortunately, we got them to 186, which was a pretty decent price. Full-time students, if any of you out there are listening, you're a full-time student, your registration fee is only $150. I think it's a great deal for you. However, you must provide proof of full-time status upon registration. We have to know that you are. It is not available for graduate students. It's just for undergrads.
What do they need to show there to prove that they're full-time?
Something from the college that they are attending. Okay. That indicates that they are an enrolled student and in good standing or whatever. Yeah. And then agenda, everybody's asking about this, will not be available till kind of closer to the middle end of June. Right. But on the website, past conference agendas are posted because everybody's captains or whoever they need to get approved for generally ask.
Okay. And I think if you're in that situation where people are wanting to know what's going to be taught, there's normal topics that it seems like they cover year in and year out. OSINT will be covered, for instance, and there will be case studies and there will be technical classes. There'll be a variety of skills, a variety of teachings, whether it's lecture-based or hands-on, dealing with a variety of topics. But to your point, look at past conferences because it will be similar for this year.
And I will add to that, the calls for presentation closed on April 28th. So we had a record number of submissions, 128 submissions.
Oh, wow.
And 28 Spanish speaking submissions, which we're very excited about. I'm actually helping the speakers committee because it's a bit overwhelming, but we're very happy to see that we have from both. So there's some very good submissions that I think you will benefit from.
All right, so be on the lookout for that, and I hope to sit down with someone to talk about the conference once we get a little bit closer, just like we did last year, and just go over the entire agenda. So we'll look for that in the coming months as we get closer to the conference. All right, what's next, Annie?
I want to talk about our current membership, which is quite incredible. We now have 6,588 IACA members within 86 countries. I mean, I will tell you that our membership committee, Rachel Carson oversees it. They have worked tirelessly putting this together and keeping it all together. I think it's fantastic. I mean, I think about how long I've been an analyst, and what we started with was, maybe 25 members. So to watch this, and I'm really happy about all of that. And then what we've been doing, because we have so many countries represented, we've been doing a number of like Italian webinar series, Portuguese, Hispanic, and they're also they're just working on their first Portuguese webinar to be delivered with simultaneous translation. We did that with Zoom. They have that available.
Yeah, putting the I in IACA. Well done.
Yeah. And then I also want to say, for those of you that are certified LEAF and CLEA certified analysts, we now have 44 LEAF certified analysts and 103 CLEA analysts, which is that has been moving. People they're very interested in getting certified in that. So also at the conference, I think it's important to know, because one of the questions we always get, because your agencies want to know what meals they have to give you. We're doing one hosted luncheon. That's the only thing that will be done. And there will be a presentation at that.
Okay. All right. Deal. And all right. What else?
My regional association committee, I'm extremely proud of, because Annie had an idea of Annie had an idea, and I didn't necessarily have and this is what you'll do, X, Y, Z. I just needed very proactive people that joined the committee, and they took it and they've run with it. They have started a number of new regionals, and some of the ones that were, they were there, but not really doing much. So we have MESIA, which is the Midwest Association of Criminal Intelligence Analysts, and it covers Minnesota, South Dakota, Iowa, and North Dakota. So that is fantastic. Wyleen is the Wisconsin Law Enforcement Analyst Network, and then we have the Crime Analysts of Illinois Association. So if any of you are listening to this and say, I did not know about that. Oh, Maraca, that's my favorite one. I just Mid-Atlantic Regional Association of Crime Analysts. And so we breathed a little life into the New York Association. They were in existence, but we've been working with them. So one of the things that I really like that the committee has done is they do a little webinar called RAC Chat, Regional Association Committee Chat. And what it's for is for those individuals who in your state, and I will tell you, there are several states that are not involved in any sort of regional association. So they talk to them about, how do you start your regional? What do you do? How do you do your bylaws? They go through everything. It's an outreach, recruitment, engagement, and enrichment. We also provide them with enrollment packages, welcome packages that they can use to bring in. And it's also for existing associations if they just need a little help. So I do really like that these have been very popular, and it's grown our association because it helps both, right? And then, we just approved the most recent regional association perks program. And what that is for is if you are going to be having a conference, and you would like to have some things from the IACA to be used at your giveaways or whatever. And so you get them only once per calendar year. Like if you have 2 conferences, we only will handle one. Unused perks do not roll over to the following year. Perks cannot be used for regional's monetary gain. And one of the things that we do is we give $445 training voucher that can be used for either a 12-week online or in-person training, or the beneficiary of the $440 voucher can also be used towards their registration at the following year's IACA conference registration fee, which is very, very helpful. So, and then we also have store items that they can request, a certain amount of store items. It's up to $50 now. And then Seth Potts, our logistics coordinator, sends it out to that association. So this has been very, very well received. And I was the president of our California association, so I know how that can go a long way. And it's just another way so the IACA stays connected with the regional associations.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understand. So, a regional association is having a conference or a symposium, and
Yes.
then these are what you just named. There are some goodies, some extras that they
Yep.
could offer those that are in attendance to their conference or symposium.
Yes.
I got
You
you.
know what?
Okay.
I'm glad you brought up symposium because we have actually been trying to find some people from other, like Canada, Mexico. At one time, we were going to do a symposium in Colombia, and then COVID happened. So we've pushed it out there a number of times. If anybody is interested in taking charge and wanting a symposium in their area out of the United States, to please let us know. So there's a
Yeah.
lot to it, and we do give them a list that, like a request for proposals, we send that out to them. So if anybody's interested, you can reach out to me and we can talk about that. And then one last thing, I think there's two little things. Mentorship. So we need mentors. I am a mentor. I love being a mentor. I have someone from that I met at last year's conference, and he is from Nigeria, and I really have enjoyed my time working with him at Akule. If you're listening to this, hello. And so we definitely need more people to volunteer to be a mentor. And there are a number of states that I'm going to mention that have never asked for any mentors. And there was over 700 emails sent to IACA members in those states. And there were 3 mentor applications were received. So anybody from Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, Ohio, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Tennessee, Utah, Vermont, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. Isn't there a song like that? Where
There
they
is.
do that?
I think that. Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. We are on the same page that I was like, there is a alphabetical list. It's really fast too. I think my kids learned it, and I was like, I get lost after the fifth one, and so it's.
Exactly.
But it's. I was trying to keep count, and I was like, wow, maybe it might have been easier to start with the ones that do have mentors because that seemed like a shorter
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
But
So anyway, please reach out if you want to be a mentor. There's so many of you out there who you don't think as much as what you do. You can really,
yeah, just real quick on that note,
yeah,
I sat down with Mike Jackson a couple months ago and we went over
yes,
all the details of that. So I will put the link to that podcast in the show notes to give you more
awesome,
information. So sorry to interrupt you there,
awesome.
Andy. Go ahead.
No, and just so you know, this year's election, and it generally comes out in July. If you want to cast your bid to become president of the IACA or treasurer of the IACA, those are the 2 positions that will be open for 2025.
Yeah, and it's usually open for what, about a month?
A good month.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good month. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So be on the lookout for that. All right.
All
Very
right.
good, Annie. A couple of things that I had on my list here. The volunteer positions. And
Yes.
there's sometimes you'll see an announcement that such and such committee needs a member. And then there's sometimes that someone's like, oh, really like to get involved, but that committee never has an opening up. Or so I wanted to go over just a little bit, maybe some misnomers, some things that about volunteering. One of them that I just learned recently is when a chair position comes up for a committee, the first thing that's asked is any of the existing members, do they want to stand up to be chair? And if somebody says yes, then that is how that position is filled. So then that chair position, there won't be an open announcement for that chair position to the rest of the membership. So I just wanted, that was one example, but I wanted to just to kind of open it up if there's something that you think of or you hear in terms of volunteer positions that we can clear up for our audience.
You nailed it. We
Yeah.
generally ask the people who already have experience with that committee, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's easier for them to step up to a chair position. doesn't always happen. Some people just don't want to be put in that leadership role, and that's understandable.
Hmm.
So we will send out information. We've sent it out on the forums before. If you're interested, let us know. And we generally, if we don't know who you are, we generally will ask for what are your qualifications or what would be your goals or for this position, because we have done it in the past, many years in the past, and some have worked and some haven't worked.
Hmm.
So we have to kind of vet people and just see if they have, because it's a lot, Jason. I just being a board member was like way more than what I even expected. And some of these committees, they're working their hardest. So yeah, it's one of those things. Definitely would like more people to get involved who never really thought of getting involved.
Yeah. And there's no term limits for there's not even
Oh,
a term, right? If once somebody volunteers, they're in that position until they tap out or they get thrown out type of thing, right?
exactly. Like I'm going to tap out here in 2 years. So that'll be open.
Yeah. Another one there too is I'm one member being in two different committees. That is something that you all have tried to avoid, right?
We do try to avoid that, yes, so that other people can step up and have that opportunity.
Yeah. So is there any advice that you would have if somebody's interested?
Yeah, I mean, we generally will put information out. I'm trying to think how we push, it's been a while since we pushed out the information. It generally is open up in a forum, or we send a general email to the entire membership and
Yeah.
ask. But I think that, I mean, just wanting to be a committee member with like no experience
Hmm.
could be good, could be not so good, right?
Yeah.
Depending on what committee it is. Because we have had some parts or people thought that they could handle it, and then it got to be too much.
Hmm.
So I just want everyone to be aware that there is a lot of your time that is involved, and you have to have a kind of job that'll let you step away for a couple of hours and take care of what you need to take care of. So like really think about it. Like don't ask to be a committee member because you want the benefits of being that committee member.
Yeah.
Because
All right.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of emails, if you're a member of IACA on the 29th, you should have got a update at IACA news email. And there's two things on there as we finish up this update. I want to point out if you know somebody that's about to retire as an analyst and that member of the IACA, there is a form that you can fill out and something will be put together in their honor. This was thought of based on recently Barry Fosberg retired,
Yes.
and a nice little write up was put together for him as he was going out the door. This is a really awesome idea. So if you know somebody that's about to retire and you want to embarrass them a lot, just fill out this form and let them be recognized, because that's obviously I'm a big proponent of analysts getting recognized. So this is another great opportunity to recognize somebody as they're on their way out of the profession.
Yeah. You know what? I think it was great when somebody brought that up about Barry. For those of us who were analysts for a very long time, and certain people were the foundational people, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a great idea to recognize them.
Yeah. So, and the other thing was there is now a code of conduct for the IACA. And
Yes.
so I will put a link in the show notes for this to the website that has the code of conduct. And so I asked you in the prep call, it's like, oh, who did what to get this thing kicked off? But yeah, you assure me that it wasn't that reason. So I just wanted
No.
to give like, what's the aim? What's the goal of this code of conduct?
It's kind of like we all represent each other, right? Like,
Hmm.
so imagine someone is one of our IACA members in good standing or whatever, and they go to another conference and maybe they play too much Annie Mitchell Flip Cup, and then they might get a little bit crazy, and then they might say, bring up the IACA, and I'm an IACA member. Well, we feel that it reflects on all of us when someone does that, right? In anything we do, in our
Mhm.
jobs, whatever. And as we've been watching the membership grow exponentially, and we kind of tend to look at IALEA and what they do, and they also have, they don't call it a code of conduct, it's called something similar. And we reached out to them and asked them why they do it. We're a professional association and we want everybody to hold themselves in, like, act professional, right? You're
Mhm.
associated with 6,587 other members. And so we decided, why wouldn't we have a code of conduct?
Yeah.
So there's a number of professional organizations that do that.
Yeah. So if you know of something, does this
Mhm.
fall under ethics?
It
Is
would
this something like that ethics would handle? It would be similar to any kind of ethics investigation that they would cover?
it could. I'm not
Hmm.
saying it will, but it
Hmm.
could be brought into that. We are working through that. What would be the process if
Hmm.
someone was reported? And if it rose to the level of an ethics complaint, then we would probably give it to the ethics committee. But hopefully we will never have to use it. That's what I'm saying. Right? I mean, we've all had plenty, especially in Las Vegas, that could be a little bit iffy.
Well, it's the second go around. Hopefully you learned your lesson the first time, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, like I said, hopefully most of us are in good standing in our agencies, and so it's just like, watch yourselves.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Annie, thank you for your time today. And we'll hopefully we get a chance to chat before the conference in or a month or
Yes,
so and get another update from you. But I am bummed that you will not be in Vegas for the
I know.
conference. So,
I am
but
too. Yeah, I am too, but it was a surgery that had to happen. So it is one, and it's going to be fine. But Jason, I will miss you, but I thank you. I really like the idea of pushing this out. I would encourage our members who are listening to this, if they have any questions for the next one, to shoot them to you, right?
yeah, yeah,
And we can go through this. Maybe it's another board member that talks. I don't know.
yeah. So that's leapodcasts at gmail.com. All right,
Perfect.
Annie, thank you so much and you take care.
You too. Thank you, Jason, for your time.